All right. How's it going, guys? I've got Salman here to talk about the weekend's action. Salman, we had Gervonta Davis fight, against Mario Barrios. I never got your thoughts post-fight. Obviously, we were in the live stream, but I wanted to do a one-to-one. What do you make of Gervonta Davis's performance? Some people were impressed, some people weren't impressed. What did you make of his performance?
I think to be honest, him moving up to 140, he's a bit gun shy early on, but I think it was a good performance. He got the job done. He got the knockout, he got the stoppage. Um, I think he looked a bit. He was a bit gun shy early, and I think that was to do with him moving up weight to 140. He wasn't sure about Barrios' power and whether he'd be able to take the power. Um, so I think he wasn't as active as he would usually be at the lower weights. I think Gervonta Davis is a type of fighter that throws a lot of punches, but in this fight against Barrios, he was more picking up his punches. Picking his punches, and that's why it took him all the way to the 11th round to get the stoppage. Maybe if he had started pressing it a bit earlier, he could have got the stoppage earlier. As he said, he even mentioned in the post-fight press conference, he didn't really try to press the action early, or he could have even stopped him earlier, to be honest. But because he didn't really know, because he's never fought at that weight, right? He wasn't too sure, so he was a bit in the middle, whether to let go or to just bide his time. Um, but I think it was a good performance. He put him down 4 times and got the job done. And for someone for someone moving up from 130 to 140, I think that's brilliant. Barrios was as tough. He was tough as nails. He wasn't going out without a fight for sure. I don't think it was an easy fight at all. I think that was a good stepping stone at 140 to start off with.
Salman, obviously people have their opinions about Gervonta Davis. He did say in the post-fight press conference that, I was worried that he was a big guy. He might catch me and he might hurt me. Do you think that his mindset needs to be clear when he moves forward if he's going to stay at that weight that, he obviously, like you said, he was gun shy. A lot of people had him losing the first 4 or 5 rounds. And obviously, if he is gun shy, the chances are that he'll lose rounds. Do you think if that was an elite 140 pounder, that it may cost him?
Yeah, it could may so. Um, you got to realize when he's fighting someone that may be able to take his power at 140, um, then it might be a bit of a problem. Then he's gonna have to start winning the rounds as well. Um, you know, it's not going to be easy in there, against the top guys, because if he can't get them out of there like how he did Barrios, then he could may well lose the fight. Um, so if he is going to stay at 140, he definitely has to be more active during the rounds because he can't just because they were worried in there after the ninth round. Mayweather was worried because on the unofficial scorecards they had him down, although he was up in the end. But on the unofficial scorecards, he was down. So you got to realize that what he has to. That basically means he wasn't active enough. And as he said in the post-fight press conference, it was more himself. It wasn't Barrios. It was more himself trying to, obviously it was his first fight at 140, so he was kind of testing the waters. He was trying to see if Barrios had, you know, the power. He wanted to see what Barrios had. So he was very inactive for the first half of the fight. Then he started coming a bit more to life after. Um, but yeah, he is gonna have to in if he does choose to fight at 140, he's gonna have to be a bit more active. And I think Gervonta Davis is a lot more better when he is active because he has more chances of landing a more significant shot. Because if he throws more shots, it'll mean that he could potentially land that one hit a quitter, which he does have in both hands. He's got bricks in both hands. But if he doesn't let if he picks his shots, then he could lose a lot of rounds, and I think that's very risky. I think he needs to. And there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance because you've got to work and win the rounds as well because you can't just bank on the power because because he has got good boxing skills. He's got good boxing skills, but they need to be used. They need to be used, and he needs to be more active moving forward if he chooses to fight at 140. Because if I'm going to be honest, I think it was a good performance, but I think Tank is better than what we've seen on the weekend. I think he's even better than that. Um, at the lower weights, he's never been this inactive. He's always, he doesn't really, even against someone like a Santa Cruz, it was a close fight, but he wasn't losing the first 5 rounds. It was a lot more closer, maybe because, he knew Santa Cruz couldn't hurt him. And he was worried that if Barrios, lands, Barrios could really hurt him because of the weight difference. But definitely moving forward, he has to have the same approach how he would at 130 and 135 when he's at 140. Otherwise, he could end up losing on points. If he's just looking for that one shot, he can't. I'm pretty sure Floyd and his team will they'll sit down and discuss. That he's got a smart team, but yeah, moving forward for sure, that's something that has to be discussed if they are going to fight again at 140.
Salman, we also saw Vasily Lomachenko fight on the weekend. He dismantled Nakatani in a performance that was punch perfect, and he put in a better performance than Tank Davis. On that performance and on Lomachenko's performance, who wins that fight?
What, Tank Davis versus Lomachenko? At 130, because they're both 130, right?
135.
Why would that happen? They're both 130 though.
No, Lomachenko fights at 135. He's a lightweight. He's fighting at 135.
I think personally, I've always picked Tank over Lomachenko because
Really?
I
think Lomachenko would box the ears off Tank.
I think Lomachenko's a better boxer than Tank, but I don't think Lomachenko's big enough to keep him off. I think eventually, wow. I don't think Lomachenko's strong enough and big enough to be able to keep him off. I just think Tank will just keep walking forward all night, and I think Lomachenko will he'll feel how can I explain it? Tank will just be on top of him all night, walking him down.
You can't hit what's not there. You can't hit what's not there. Lomachenko's too skilled. He's too elusive for Tank. Tank's not going to be able to land.
But the thing is, Tank's not just Tank. The thing is, Tank can go to the body as well, and he's got vicious body shots. So I don't know. I think it's a very good fight, but I think Tank is very vicious. He's a very vicious fighter, and he's very versatile, and he's got good defense himself. He's not that. And against Lomachenko, it'll be a completely different fight. He isn't going to fight how he fought against Barrios. He's just going to literally walk to him. He's just going to walk to him and pressurize him. He's going to make him fight on the inside, and it's going to be Lomachenko is going to have to run all night because it's going to be tough, and he's going to get very tired in the fight. Certainly, if he's getting.
Lomachenko can hurt Tank. Lomachenko can. Don't you think Lomachenko can hurt Tank?
From what I've seen thus far, I don't think Lomachenko can hurt Tank. I don't think he punches hard.
Wow.
Because if you look at it, if Mario Barrios, who's a much bigger, stronger guy than Lomachenko, couldn't hurt Tank, then I don't think Lomachenko is not known to be a one knockout, like a big puncher. He's more of a skillful fighter, elusive. He's a puzzle. Lomachenko's a puzzle. He's not really a big puncher. He's more of a puzzle. If he's going to beat Tank, it's going to be on points. He's not going to knock Tank out. I don't think he has it in him to knock somebody like a Tank out. Tank's a proper dog. Like, I've seen him. Tank's a small at 130, right? And Tank is tough. Like, no matter what anyone says, about his boxing ability or whatever, but Tank's a tough dude. Like, to knock somebody like that out, you're gonna have to literally nail him. And I can't see Lomachenko knocking Tank out. No way, no chance. If he's gonna win that fight, he's gonna have to outbox him, which he could do. Don't get me wrong. If the dude this Saturday was having success, he's nowhere near as good technically, and his IQ is nowhere near on the level of Lomachenko. So Gervonta Davis could be at the back end of a Lomachenko masterclass. We just don't know, because Lomachenko is a world-class fighter. He's not He's not, he's not a Barrios, that's for sure. So it's a very good fight. But if I was to pick right now, based on Lomachenko's coming off. He's obviously, he fought Nakatani. Yeah, he's got a bit of confidence now, but he's coming off. He's lost a lot of confidence from the Teofimo fight. I think that's made him lose a lot of self-esteem. You know, and I think the way Tank's on the up, like he's just going up, 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 up. I'm not saying it would be an easy fight, but I just think that it's Tank's time now. And I just think if Lomachenko and him were to fight, and personally, I think Tank could get him as well. Tank could connect something on him, and he could be in some serious trouble.
Salman, so what are you saying? Gervonta Davis knocks out Lomachenko cold?
I don't know whether he'd knock him out cold, but he definitely has the sort of power where he could splatter him.
What happens? What happens in that fight then? Gervonta Davis v Lomachenko. What's your prediction if that fight was to happen?
So what my prediction? I'll tell you how I think the fight would go as well. I think initially, I think initially, Lomachenko's going to move around, but as soon as Tank sees that, as soon as Tank kind of figures out what he's doing in the first couple of rounds, he's just gonna come at him like a steam train, pretty much. And I don't think Tank's a very skillful fighter himself. It's not like he doesn't have no skills behind the punches. I think he's just gonna pretty much I think he's gonna run him down and just literally pressurize him, hit him to the body, and I just can't see in 12 rounds, because even Nakatani was landing. Let's not get mistaken, he landed, but obviously he didn't have the pop. I just can't see. I think Tank in 12 rounds would land one shot where it'll be flush right on the button, where it will hurt Lomachenko. But if I'm going to be honest, he can't afford. Lomachenko needs a masterclass. He can't afford to take one flush on the button, because it could be dangerous, because you got to realize that it's just very dangerous against someone like Tank. He's going to have to make sure he fights a punch perfect fight, because he can't stand there trade, that's for sure. He's going to have to move around how he does, even more so. He's going to have to run rings around Tank. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't stand in the pocket and trade at all, because that's basically giving Tank, the best chance of winning. Lomachenko will have to dance rings around, but I just don't think in 12 rounds he's going to be able to dance around for 12 rounds against Tank. I just think Tank's very skillful himself as well, and I just think in 12 rounds he will land a meaningful shot. And if he does wobble him, he'll get the job done. He won't do it like if he gets him hurt like how Linares did, he'll get him out of there for sure, because Lomachenko's coming up from 130. He's a smaller man. He's not a Barrios where he's going to be able to take the shots. I just think he'll step on him and just put it straight on him, and he'll try finish it. He'll close the show.
Someone Gervonta Davis v Josh Taylor. If he stays at 140, how do you see that one going, and who wins that fight?
That's a barn burner, that is. But I don't think this Gervonta Davis that beat Barrios beats Josh Taylor. I think he would have to add, as I said to you before, he'd have to be a lot more active. He can't fight, where he's just, the first 5 rounds are off, because you can't afford that against someone like a Josh.
Do you think he's got that in him?
What in him?
Do you think he's got that in him to up his game to beat someone like Josh Taylor?
Yeah, of course. Like, you can't write someone like a Gervonta Davis off. It's obviously a quality fighter. It's not like Josh Taylor's fight. If that fight was to be made, he's fighting someone that is not really going to trouble him. Gervonta Davis is a hard fight for anyone at 140, because of the fact that he's got a lot of punching power. One shot could change the whole course of the fight. Even if he's losing 9 rounds, he just could land that one shot that could change the complexion of the fight. And even Josh Taylor said it himself, that Gervonta could just land one and it could be finished. It could be over. So he respects Gervonta, and he knows what Gervonta brings to the ring. He knows that wouldn't be an easy fight at all. He'd have to be properly prepared for that fight, because in my opinion, that's as hard that's as hard of a fight than a Ramirez, than a Regis Prograis, in my opinion. Although, yeah, Tank is a lot smaller, but Tank's a very, very quality fighter and someone that's got a lot of heart and a lot of dog in him. But on that performance on Saturday, Tank will have to give a lot more in terms of being active, which I think he can.
Okay, I'll put you on the spot then. I'll put you on the spot. Gervonta Davis v. Josh Taylor. Who wins that fight?
Oh man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but you got to go with the man that you got to go with the guy that could, you got to go with the guy that can change the fight at any second. You got to go with the man. You got to go with Tank, man, because
that's a big one. That's a big one.
And the only reason why I'm saying Tank, is because he proved it on Saturday. Like he was really losing that fight in my eyes, right? Although that guy wasn't really doing much, but he was losing the fight. And power is power. Power is power at the end of the day. And
Salman, you're telling me Gervonta Davis knocks out Lomachenko and Josh Taylor? Wow. It's crazy.
I'm more certain he knocks Lomachenko out because obviously he's a lot smaller. But with Josh Taylor, that fight has a possibility of definitely going the distance. For sure.
But what's your opinion? What's your opinion?
What do I think that fight will go the distance? No, I don't think. I think one of them will get knocked out.
Wow. Who do you think that is? Will get knocked out?
I've already told you. I think that would. I think if anyone's going to get knocked out, from what I've seen thus far, it would be Josh Taylor.
Wow.
I don't think that fight. I don't think the way Josh Taylor fights. I think Josh Taylor will put it on Gervonta Davis. I think Josh Taylor's a very offensive-minded fighter. I don't think Josh Taylor will look to box. I think Josh Taylor will think he's a bigger man. He's gonna get on the inside and he's gonna maul the smaller man. I think he'll have that mindset. But that's why I don't think that would be wise for Josh Taylor, because I think the best opportunity for Tank is that, if they start fighting, because I think then Tank could land one, and it could be curtains. It just could be curtains.
So Salman, prediction: Gervonta Davis v Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis v Josh Taylor. Your prediction before we end the interview.
Both knockouts. I think he could knock both of those guys out.
Wow. So are you saying Gervonta Davis knocks out Lomachenko and Josh Taylor?
I think he definitely knocks Lomachenko out. Josh Taylor, I think he can knock Josh Taylor out, but I'm not as certain. But if I was to pick, I think yeah, he will knock Josh Taylor out, but I'm not as convinced with that.
There you have it, guys. There you have it. Salman gives his take. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.